Good morning, everyone. Great to be here this morning, and excited about our opponent this week. And before we start talking about the Eagles and about our team, just wanted to give a shout out to our coaches, all of our assistant coaches, Todd Wash, Tim Luckaboo, Peter Hansen, Burt Watts, Jonathan Cooley, D'Angelo Hall, Bobby Maffei, Alair Amini, Mayor Chadari. All of those guys are just doing a fantastic job. And, obviously, the last couple of games especially, and some of the results that we've had this season haven't been what we wanted. But just like the players have continued to persevere and continue to work and be solution-oriented, our coaches have done a great job of that as well. They continue to pour into these players and continue to work their butts off. And so we just continue to believe that our process is good, and the work ethic and the commitment to getting better will eventually achieve the results that we want more consistently. So, but just really appreciative of our coaching staff and all the support that they provide me and provide to our players. And so with that, I'll take some questions.
All right, let's go to David Newton, followed by Mike Kay.
Hey, Coach, good to see you today. We wanted to go back to something you said a couple of weeks ago when you were congratulating your father-in-law, Phil Johnston, on his retirement. Can you explain exactly who Phil is and your relationship with him and why that's so significant?
Yeah, so Phil Johnston, he's my wife Natalie's father, and I met Phil through his son Nick Johnston, my first year coaching at the University of California, Davis. Nick Johnston, Natalie's older brother, Phil's first son, was one of my players. And so we've had a relationship going back to 2005, first as a player's coach's father, and then it evolved into a father-in-law. And but along the way, he's been just a great role model and mentor, and somebody that I really, really have a high amount of respect for, even though he's my father-in-law.
Shouldn't be, even though, I don't think that's dangerous. But when you say that he was a player's father, who was the player?
My brother-in-law, Nick Johnston.
Oh, your brother-in-law. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Hey, Jay. I don't have any family questions to ask, but obviously obviously the numbers are the numbers. But where do you feel like, if you are potentially making progress, where do you feel like you guys are making progress against the short passing game and the run defense, or against the run?
Well, the progress is more how we played in the first 3 quarters of that game against Tampa Bay. Obviously, we did not finish the game. We wanted the way we wanted to finish the game in the fourth quarter and overtime, and so that's where we got to get better. And Coach Canales talks about it constantly. It's about finishing, and that's got to be our identity as a team, and certainly has to be our identity as a defense. And so we've got to finish better. And as the game extends and it gets tougher, we got to be better, and when our best is required, we got to play at our best, and coach at our best as well. So we all understand that, and there's been significant progress. We've played 2 good football teams the last 2 weeks. We've played good enough in moments, but we all know that moments don't count. We've got to find a way to get those results, and so that's what we continue to strive for.
Your players, when you guys have had those type of moments of kind of letdown or not finishing, they've been very quick to blame the collective unit, like the players, and not the scheme or the coaching. I'm just curious, how has that messaging impacted your confidence in the group and your confidence that there can be growth with the messaging that you've given?
Yeah, there isn't a loss of confidence in the messaging or our people or our personnel or scheme or any of that. We know that if the results aren't good enough, we all understand that. But the blame is not solely on the players. The blame is on all of us, and I have my hand on it as much as anybody. And so I understand that I've got to be better. We've got to play better. We've got to coach better. And again, we love the growth that we are seeing. We love where we've come from the beginning of the year. There's a lot of good things that are happening, and there's a lot of improvement that's being made. But we still have to find a way to finish these games, and that's always going to be the message. And along with getting better, because whether you win or lose, we got to find a way to get better.
All right, let's go to Alex, followed by Cassidy and Joe.
Hey, EJ.
How you doing, Alex?
Hey, doing great. So, the reputation of the Eagles offense precedes them quite a bit. They got an MVP caliber runner in Saquon Barkley. They got Jalen Hurts, who somehow has more rushing touchdowns than Saquon. Um, when you're going through the scout of this team, has anything surprised you about this Eagles offense?
No, not at all. This is, they've been a good team for the last handful of years, and I know last year they didn't finish the way that they wanted, but you look 2 years ago, they were in the Super Bowl. They were even in the playoffs last year. They've done a good job. Coach Sirianni, his staff has done a tremendous job. Coach Fangio, obviously, with the defense, a mentor of mine, and so there's a lot of good things happening in there. And when you look specifically at their offensive personnel, it's no surprise that they're playing at that level. Starts up front with a really, really outstanding offensive line. They got really good skilled players, Saquon, Mr. Brown, Mr. Smith, all of those guys. And Jalen is doing a great job at the quarterback position, really controlling the whole thing. And so Kellen is doing a great job calling the plays. We know they're going to run the ball. They do a good job with their passing game. And there's so many good things that they do. There's so many different ways that they can attack you. And it's going to be a tremendous challenge for us on Sunday.
And to follow up, can you expound a little bit? You called Vic Fangio your mentor just now. Can you expound on your relationship with him?
Yeah, Vic is, in my opinion, one of the best coaches in this league, and he's a great defensive mind and passionate about the game. You know, not the most boisterous personality, but like the one thing that guys that have been around Vic knows that he admires his players and cares about his players as much as any coach in this league. And so I have a high amount of respect for him and learned so much from him. Obviously, a lot of what we do now is kind of stems back to what I learned from my days with him in San Francisco. And so great coach, great mentor, and I'm always still watching those Eagles games to try to get some, to see if there's anything I could take away from them.
Wonderful. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Hey, EJ, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good. Kind of building off of that as well, when you know what an offense is going to do, like the Eagles aren't really hiding what they want to do, what makes that easier on the defense and what makes it harder?
Well, it's yes, they are running the ball, but within those run schemes, they got some RPO, some pass options out there. And there's enough balance in terms of there's enough throws in there where you still have to cover their guys. They got great skilled players on the outside. If Goddard plays, they got a really good tight end. So they've got enough firepower on the outside that you certainly have to account for their passing game. And so it's a great challenge. Kellen has done a good job in terms of calling the plays and calling the scheme. And you can see that there's a core organizational philosophy in terms of how they want to play on all three levels of on all three sides of the ball. And so it's a tremendous challenge for us, run game and pass game.
EJ, following up on that, on paper, this would look like kind of a mismatch in terms of their run game against your run defense. What gives you confidence that you guys can slow them down in that run game?
Well, we're going to lean into our technique, our fundamentals, the players that we have, the schemes that we're going to deploy on Sunday. And I truly believe this. Yes, that's a very, very good offensive team, especially running the ball. But there's certainly a way to win every game you play in this league, and we have to go find that. And we know that it's a tremendous challenge. We got to be at our best on Sunday. We got to execute at a high level, and that's going to be a phenomenal opportunity for us, and we look forward to it. Also,
I was hoping you could touch on the unique challenge that Saquon presents.
Yeah, it starts up front like we talked about, but then that is, obviously one of the best runners in this league. He's big, he's fast, he's got great change of direction. He can find the openings. He's got home run ability, and so all of those things factor in, and they do a good job of providing space for him. So we know it's going to be a great challenge.
Thank you.
All right, I have time for a few more, so let's wrap up with Mike K and Vashti.
EJ, also specifically, they have two very good tackles.
Yes.
Obviously, a lot of running gets equated to the interior, but when you have two tackles that can run block like Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata, and then they're also now incorporating a fullback, like how much more of a challenge does that make it? Saquon aside, like even if Kenny Gainwell or Will Shipley are in there.
Yeah, no, it's all the way across the board. They're excellent. They come off the ball. They got size. They can move people. So this is a very, very good offensive line all the way across the board, run game and pass game. And so yeah, it's going to be a challenge. I think another dimension that makes it tough is because we know that the quarterback element of the run game is big, and so all of those factors. Again, I have a high amount of respect for Coach Sirianni and Kellen Moore for how they've organized this offense, how they're putting this whole thing together, and yes, it's going to be a tremendous challenge.
And then really quick before Vashti wraps this up, J.C. Horn's been a lot more physical this year. It seems like he is constantly involved in run stops. What have you seen from him from a physicality standpoint from last year to this year?
Yeah, well, I think it's last year's kind of hard to judge just because of few amount of snaps. But this is the player I remember seeing in South Carolina. Physical guy, loves contact. If you all can remember, he played a lot of nickel at South Carolina, so he was involved in a lot of the run game. And so, yeah, he is playing at such a high level in his coverage, in the run game part of it, and the crack replace part of it. And I've been very, very, very pleased with the way he's played this season.
Thanks, Mike. That was a good segue because I wanted to ask about JC. I'm curious. JC, of course, is widely considered one of the better corners in the league. What's your philosophy on having him shadow the opposing team's best wide receiver?
Yeah, I think that's always a week-to-week thing based on the game plan. And, I don't know if I want to necessarily share that trade secret, but yeah, I think obviously he's going to always have the hard downs and the stress in terms of the more man coverage, the harder matchups and things of that nature. But I think in terms of how you deploy him week to week, that just really depends on the opponent and our weekly preparation.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, y'all have a good one.